Hello YouTube, this is Metaljedipirate. Welcome back to the channel, and today we are going to be talking about my favourite bands I found through reaction videos and through reaction channels. Now, as you all may know, I do reactions myself, and I've been doing them for about 4 years now. So if you're into this strange brand of form of entertainment, that is myself, then consider hitting that subscribe button, checking out some videos, and I thought I'd just do something a little bit different. It's still reaction orientated, but it's just something a little bit different. I thought I'd mention, some of the favourite bands I've actually found through this process. And there are so many people that do reaction videos. There's obviously thousands and thousands of channels, and everyone's doing some really, really cool stuff. And this is how I find that people find a lot of music nowadays, because a lot of people getting recommendations from viewers, and then they find bands, and I've actually found some of my favourite bands thanks to you guys and reaction channels that are out there. Now, the main reaction channels that I actually watch are Nick Nocturnal, Tank the Tech, and Alex Hefner. They are sort of the main three that I essentially watch, and they plus myself, through making reactions videos of my own, have actually found basically some of my now pretty much favourite bands, and we are going to check those out today. And let's start from the beginning. Let's start with A, shall we? So Architects. Architects is a band I essentially found sort of by myself. I never really saw anyone actually from the sort of main three that I watch do any Architects videos. I know like Nick Nocturnal and Alex Hefner have done them. However, I don't recall ever seeing them at that time. So that is one band that I found that I've listened to a lot more recently, that I essentially found by myself via doing reaction videos. And I've absolutely enjoyed it. It's one of those ones where I find that it's one I knew I had to listen to, but I never actually got round to listening to it, and it's one of those ones I kind of wish that I'd listened to earlier. As with most of the bands that I listen to, I kind of go, well, why didn't I listen to this earlier, But yeah, they do some great metalcore stuff. I've recently sort of got a bit more into metalcore. They're not something I would usually sort of go for. I've, obviously since I've been doing my reaction journey over the last 4 years, I've, really sort of broadened my horizons of essentially what I listen to. I kind of get stuck in a loop of listening to Ailstorm, Ghost, Blackstone Cherry, and like Avatar is sort of my main sort of core of bands that I listen to. I could pretty much listen to one of those a week, and it would just be like normal rotation. But Architects is one of those ones I've slowly brought in a hell of a lot more, and I've really enjoyed listening to it, and I've listened to it outside of doing reactions as well. I've, started listening to a lot more of their songs. We are now moving on to Electric Callboy. Now, this is one of those bands that I absolutely love. They have become one of my favourites over the last couple of years, and that is due to Tank the Tech, Nick Nocturnal, and Alex Hefner all reacting to Hyper Hyper. Now, that is the song that basically exploded the reaction scene, and I am one of those people that got on board from that song. I was like, I'm probably not going to like it, but then I actually listened to it. I was like, oh my god, this is amazing. So from there, I've essentially done my own reactions, and I found my own path into Electric Callboy. And I will actually say that Techno is one of my favourite albums that I actually own. I still collect CDs to an extent, and that is one of my favourite albums that I actually own and listen to on a fairly consistent basis. It is so good. I did actually do a full album reaction. Unfortunately, it got blocked, which is a bit of a pain. However, it was so much fun to do when that originally came out, and they have now become one of my favourite bands of all time, and that is due to reaction videos. Next up, we have Ice Nine Kills. Now, I'm a big fan of horror, and metal music and horror just works so well. I think it was Alex Hefner's channel that I found Ice Nine Kills. It was, I think, Thank God It's Friday and The American Nightmare was the ones I was introduced to. And then when they released the Silver Screen 2, Welcome to Horrorwood, is when I then started my own reactions. I did Assault and Batteries and Hip to Be Scared. And that basically went from there. And I've just listened to Ice Nine Kills. I don't even know how many times I've listened to it, but it is now in my rotation quite heavily because I just love the band so much. Silver Scream and Silver Scream 2 are fantastic albums, and I've also now started to go back to listen to some of their older stuff, which is not quite as heavy. Is it Predator and the Predator Becomes Prey? I can't remember the exact name of the album, but that is fantastic as well. And that I've actually done not through doing reactions. I've done that off of my own accord, and it is absolutely brilliant. It's nice and heavy. I get all the references because, like I say, I'm a big horror fan, and it just makes me want to watch horror movies, to be honest with you. So that is another band that I find has actually become one of my favourites because of this type of content. This type of content is absolutely fantastic for you to get into new music. Consider like either making it or watching it, supporting channels, all that sort of stuff. You know, it goes a long way because people are going through their own musical journeys, and you never know what you're going to pick up. And that brings me on to Love Bites. Now, Love Bites have done absolutely wonders for my channel, and it has brought in for me a lot of subscribers, which I'm incredibly thankful for. And it's also really, really, really good music. And it got suggested to me quite early on within my reaction journey that a lot of people said, oh, you should listen to Love Bites, check them out, you know, they need the support, and they certainly do. They're quite a small band, but they have such a big impact. I've recently just finished, although probably by the time this video goes out it won't be complete yet, is the Awakening from Abyss full album reaction, which I've gone through every single track individually, and that's been so much fun. I've had such a blast doing it. It's been great checking out all the songs. I've probably done about 14, maybe 15 videos at this point to do with Love Bites, and again, they've become one of my favourites. I don't listen to them that often, to be honest with you. I feel like I've got to be in a mood because I find that I get stuck in like a miniature like 5-band vortex. So I'll listen to a lot of Ailstorm, I'll listen to some Blackstone Cherry, I'll listen to some Avatar, and then I'll also then move on to Orbit Culture, which is the next band in one of my favourites that I found through reactions. Now, it was, I do believe, the Tech's video of Saw was my first introduction to reaction side of stuff for Orbit Culture. Now, that for me, when I saw those videos, also mention to Mouth of the South, he's done a couple of reaction videos to Orbit Culture as well, which kind of got me into them as well. I can't remember what songs he's done, but he has done a couple of them. I think it might have been Saw, which is then somehow how I've also found it as well. And big shout out to him. He's a great reactor, and so that Orbit Culture is one of those bands that I've just picked up as soon as I heard like Saw, and I heard Strangler, and obviously now like From the Inside, that Descent album is absolutely fantastic, and it's one of those bands that I've actually seen live through this journey. So I've actually gone out of my way to actually go and watch the band live because I found them through reactions. I saw Ice Nine Kills a couple of weeks ago, There's a few bands that I have seen, basically because of, I've got into them through reactions. So Orbit Culture has been very heavily in my rotation at the moment. I've been listening to Descent. Like I say, it's a great album and it's a lot of fun. So moving on, the next band is Sabaton. Now, I'm quite a big history buff, and I do like World War One, World War Two history, and just any history, to be honest with you, medieval history, anything. And Sabaton are one of those bands that cover all of that in a really cool power metal style. Now, I got into Sabaton because of Alex Hefner and because of Tank the Tech has covered quite a lot of them as well. And Alex was the one that sort of started playing the Sabaton for me, so obviously I've then picked up from there. I've gone and listened off to my own accord and listened to a lot of Sabaton via that, and then I've started buying albums and stuff like that, and all of their albums that I've listened to so far are absolutely fantastic. They do justice for the topics that they pick, and it's just a great power metal band. One thing I also have found really interesting is when you watch the Tank the Tech videos, he goes into detail about how the production and stuff of the videos are made, which I really like as well, and it's brought another aspect of the production which I like myself, because I am in fact I'm a filmmaker myself, so I really enjoy the aspects of that and what they bring to that. So Tank the Tech and Alex Hefner, for me, have, they've built up this really cool videos of Sabaton, which basically has made me get into the band even more. And this is the power of reaction videos, because it will, people will give information and their thoughts, and then you kind of go, actually, that's pretty cool. Or actually, maybe it's not quite for me. It depends on obviously the subject and their views, because you might have some confliction, but it's always nice to know what people are thinking. So we've done obviously quite a few bands, and now we are on to the last actual band that I would class probably one of my favourites, and that is Slaughter to Prevail. Now, this is one of these bands that Nick has done. Alex has done, Tank has done, so many people have done Slaughter to Prevail, and they are one of those bands that have become very popular throughout the reaction scene. Obviously, I know there are more people who have done it, and I can't name everyone, but I'm just going off of the main people that I watch. But they are one of those bands that I listened to. I think it was it Demolisher? And I was like, okay, this is quite interesting. That kind of went through the reaction scene quite quickly. I listened to that via a couple of people, and then obviously my first reaction to it was Agony. I really enjoyed that. Baba Yaga, Viking, 1984, and then recently KOD and stuff like that. I actually listened to their album, which I can't remember what that's called. Is it Colostrum? I would probably pronounce that wrong, but it is, again, one of these bands that I found that I've listened to because of other reactors, and that's got me into a band and got me reacting to them. So it is one of these ones that I find that a lot of cool stuff does come from reaction videos, and it's one of these ones where it's got me actually into the band and got me listening to it. Obviously, all the bands that I've listed off so far are pretty much bands that I listen to in fairly regular rotation. Obviously, other bands that I've got into include Spirit Box, Amaranth, Falling in Reverse, Powerwolf, Bleed From Within, and Code Orange, Dimmu Borgir. Sort of, it all really does vary on genres and stuff like that, because I quite like to be quite broad with stuff. I don't want to just get into a specific niche. I want to explore music, and I've had a lot of fun making videos. Obviously, I've done Ailstorm reactions, Ghost reactions, Avatar reactions, Blackstone Cherry reactions, Slash reactions. You know, I've done quite a few. Obviously, I can't really say them, you know, my favourites from reactions, because a lot of the bands that I've just listed are in fact bands I listened to before I started reactions. The point of the reactions for me is to explore new music and get my thoughts out there and stuff like that. Anyway, I hope you guys have essentially enjoyed this little video. I think it's great that what a lot of reactors do nowadays. It's interesting to see what their thoughts are, and it's sort of like you become sort of like a little bit like a music journalist. I was watching Tank the Text video on Nightwish, Perfume of the Timeless, and while he said it was a good song, he was just saying about the mix. And looking back on it now, while I've done that video, I really enjoyed the song. Looking back and watching it while he was watching it, he was explaining a lot of the stuff that was going on. I was like, I actually kind of see and understand what he's saying about it, and it really makes sense because he's got that knowledge. And you know, people like Nick I watch for entertainment, Alex Hefner I watch for entertainment. You know, I've seen the Charismatic Voice and stuff like that. They do some really cool stuff where they do like the breakdowns of how things go and stuff like that. It's all really, really interesting stuff. So anyway, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Consider hitting that subscribe button. I've linked some YouTube videos in the description, so check those out if you want to. Also check out some content here, and we shall see you guys on the next video. Bye bye.